Horse race between the Deputy President, Cyril Ramaphosa, and Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. However, there are some questions around several controversial figures who will be included into a list, some with direct links to the Gupta family. Well, to discuss the elective conference further, joining us is political analyst Ongama Mtimka on the line. Mr. Mtimka, thank you very much. Despite calls for unity, looking at what's happening in the Free State, in other provinces, it does look like the ANC is heading into this conference as divided as ever. Do you agree?
Well, truly speaking, the ANC succession politics are badly managed. The ANC hasn't really gotten the process of succeeding a president well, and it doesn't seem to learn from it. So there has been 2.5 years of a polarizing contestation. We heard of a Premier League many years ago that was working to ensure Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma presidency, and we know that the Deputy President, Cyril Ramaphosa, has had his eyes on the presidential seat for a long time, and it's been a bruising battle. And I think the reason why this is so is because there's a very close proximity between leadership position in the ANC and the public purse. So it was never going to be that after 2 years of David Mabuza, working to ensure Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma presidency on a factional line, that within 2 weeks of a provincial conference, they were going to say, a unity card is played, and that unity is followed through.
Given the commentary at the moment, it seems a lot of people think that Cyril Ramaphosa is feeling confident the way he's conducting himself. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma's camp may be feeling a bit under pressure. What's your take?
Well, I'd share that sentiment. I think the gambit that Mpumalanga played was an attempt to try and play a psychological game of saying to the Ramaphosa faction, you don't know what you are losing out on, so you may as well want to come to the bargaining table and negotiate. And I think by that time, in fact, as early as mid-year at the policy conference, the Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma lobbyists had been seeing that the race might be lost by them. And I think that's why we had the president at the policy conference making a call for a proposal that accommodates both slates or both presidential candidates at the conference, framing it as a call for unity when in fact it may have been the last of strategies aimed at defending a particular position that they are likely to lose.
This idea of a unity candidate was there for a while, although now saying vote for Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma instead. But it was there in Mpumalanga, a compromise candidate in the form of Zweli Mkhize also touted. He was in studio a short while ago saying that's not true. That was a media fabrication. You know, people are just nominated. Is there any possibility now of a third candidate, a dark horse coming through, or is that off the table?
Well, it seems like it's completely off the table. If it came, it would come. There's no third way or third option that can come now that excludes Dlamini Zuma or Ramaphosa. In fact, if one listened to the messaging that came from the Ramaphosa lobbyists, they are going for the kill. They want to contest the election, lose if they lose, win if they win. I think one of the things that we must bear in mind about the impact of succession politics in the ANC is the link. I heard you guys talk about state capture with Zweli Mkhize. You know, there's a strong link between the office of the ANC or leadership of the ANC with what has come to be known as a shadow government, state capture, if you like, that controls government and then controls access to government resources. That is why, for example, even after the conference, what we are going to have is two broken holes that attempted to be mended, but will never mend, because what we are going to see for both the conference is a purging process. And I think, for example, starting in the Eastern Cape, where those people that didn't support whichever candidate wins at the conference get purged because they are occupying positions currently which allow them to control both the state that we know as well as the shadow government that controls access to resources.
If what you're saying is right, and also looking at all the disputes heading into this, does it say something about the democratic impulse of the ANC itself?
That's interesting. So for me, I think democratic outcomes in the ANC are manufactured. The process is manufactured from branch level all the way to region and province. That is why ahead of a conference, you will hear people talk about having won a conference. That is why it takes a lot of time in a conference to have credentials accepted, precisely because numbers in the ANC, people in the ANC don't get surprised when ballots are counted, but they know beforehand how many people are likely going to vote for who. Let's take, for example, the unity vote at the provincial conference in Mpumalanga. There, people were following a leadership instruction because that came from the leaders from mid-year. So that shows you that the extent of democracy in the ANC is a far-fetched idea. What you have is factionally controlled outcomes of what seems to be democratic processes. So there's manufactured consent, if you like.
Well, the Treasurer General Willem Kize said he agreed with the Free State Premier Ace Magashula that there should be a lot of consensus building before, and basically they should decide, come up with some sort of plan instead of chaos at the conference. So that does point towards consensus rather than voting democracy, I guess.
Well, the challenge with the ANC is that particular political imperatives come ahead of the integrity of structures, as well as what may be seen as noble objectives of ensuring that the party is sustainable. So, for example, a call for unity is going to be made when one faction sees that they have completely lost. When, in fact, they had a whole 2 years to prepare for a unified succession, the ANC has had 5 years actually to prepare for a better managed process of leadership change. But that has not been done. Now, at a time when particular tactical gambits, tactical mistakes have been made, you hear calls being made for unity. And the issue for me is not really unity at this stage. What people are pursuing is to attempt to salvage what's left of their grip on state power. So that will be an arrangement that's not aimed at ensuring that the ANC can run a thriving election campaign, but more at protecting individuals that may perceive themselves to be at risk of being purged and disassociated with patronage networks.
Well, I can predict your answer to this, but let me ask you anyway. You heard that interview with Willem Kize. He was saying that most delegates won't go for being paid off, bribed to vote. They are actually passionate about ensuring that there is the right leadership in place for the party. Your take?
Let's hope so. What one has seen over the years is that the ANC failed to become a learning organization. It has allowed the repeat of the same mistakes that are crippling to the party, to the extent that the ANC itself has been responsible for the momentum of self-destruction that has built over the years and has done nothing whatsoever to try and stop that. So if you look at the organizational renewal documents, they talk about strengthening structures and ensuring that the organization is insulated from manipulation by powerful individuals. But in practice, it has actually opened up the organization more and more to being manipulated and destroyed by people within the organization.
All right, thank you so much for your analysis. Political analyst Ongama Mtimka on the line for us. We take a short break and we'll be back with your news headlines top of the hour.